Welcome, my friends, to my Stampin' Piece studio. I'm Mary Knabe, coming to you live from Westerville, Ohio on Thursday, August 29th at 2 p.m. So thank you for joining me live. If you're watching the replay on YouTube, my YouTube channel, or my blog, stampinpiece.com, after August 29th, thank you to you as well. Also, I appreciate everybody for being a part of my Stampin' Up! Journey. Couple of very quick announcements. August 31st is the very last day to redeem your Stampin' Up! Bonus Days coupons that you would have earned in July with your orders. Okay, August 31st is the last day. However, I am going to tell you to please do that today or tomorrow. Do it while Stampin' Up! Support is open for business. They are not, demonstrator and customer support is not open on Saturday. So if there would be some kind of a glitch or you're not able to get things worked out with your bonus day coupons, they can help you today and tomorrow, August 30th, but they won't be there to offer help on Saturday. Also, August 31st is the very last day of our DSP sale. 14 of our wonderful designer series papers from the annual catalog are 15% off through the 31st. Again, I would encourage you to order today on the 29th or tomorrow on the 30th, because demonstrator support and customer support is open then if you would need some additional help. Everything should be fine, but you never know, just in case. I ask people not to wait till the last minute. In addition to that, I have my registration open for my Thoughtful Journey Fun Folds card class to go. This is just one of the 6 different fun folds you'll make with that class. And registration for this is open through Saturday, August 31st. All of the information can be found on my website, stampinpiece.com, or if you receive my emails, you've been seeing, or hopefully have been seeing, the emails about this class. It's wonderful. I had so much fun designing all the fun fold cards. Of course, the DSP is gorgeous. Tuesdays, Facebook Live, I introduced a very simple, easy card layout, and that included how to cut the 2 pieces of coordinating designer series paper at the same time with that angle. So we made these 2 vertical or portrait cards, and then we made 2 in the landscape orientation or landscape position, horizontal. So that has posted to stampinpiece.com. You can also find it on my YouTube channel, Stampin' Piece with Mary Knabe. Today, I'm going to once again be using the Regal Flora Stamp Set that we used in Tuesday's Facebook Live. However, this is basically a simple stamping demonstration. And even before we make the cards, I want to show you a way to cut your 2 pieces of cardstock so that you get 5 pieces for stamping and then 5 pieces for a layer. And I think you're going to like this way of cutting your cardstock because it makes your cardstock go a little bit further because of the size we're cutting. So let me flip my camera around now and we will get started right away. While I'm doing that, would you please share this live video and invite others to join us? something's backwards here. Let me fix that. There we go. Okay, I'm gonna slip my glasses back on. And like I said, actually I'll show you. Here are 5 cards I made. Each of them has a white cardstock for stamping that measures 4 3/4 by 3 1/2. And then they each have that pretty peacock layer behind it, which is just 1/8 of an inch larger. So let me show you how to cut this so that you get 5 pieces from each of these 2 pieces of cardstock. You know, I always say if you can make 1 card, you might as well make 2. In this case, you might find it helpful if you're making lots of cards, because with cutting your cardstock this way, you'll be able to make 5. So the layering is a little bit different. The size of my layers are different for this card, but I think you'll enjoy this cutting tip. So I've got my 8 1/2 by 11 cardstock in the vertical position or portrait position, and I'm going to cut at 4 3/4. I'm going to turn that to horizontal and cut at 3 1/2. So 3 1/2 increments this way, and that will give me 3 pieces with that little strip left over. And then I'm going to take this piece that was left over from my first cut, put it at 3 1/2. I've got that little strip left. I'm going to turn it to the horizontal position and cut at 4 3/4 inches. So here are now 5 pieces I can use for stamping to make 5 cards, okay? I'm not going to make 5 cards with you today. I'm going to make 2 because there's a lot of stamping that I'm going to show you on here. Now, I like to go ahead and if I already have my sample, know what I'm making, I like to cut my layers at the same time. So I need this to be just a little bit larger. I want it to be 1/8 of an inch larger, okay? So I'm going to cut first with my cardstock in the vertical position. Some people call it portrait position, but I'm going to cut it 4 7/8. And then the width of my white cardstock was 3 1/2. So I need to go 1/8 of an inch larger. So it's 3 5/8. Let's see, another 3 5/8. And then one more 3 5/8. Whoops. So that gives me 3. And then I need this to be 3 5/8. And guess what? It is exactly that. After my first cut, this is what's left over. 3 5/8 by 11 inches. So I'm going to turn this and cut at my 4 7/8 inch. Do the same thing, 4 7/8, and I have that little bit left. So this is all I have left. These are my scraps from those 2 8 1/2 by 11 pieces of cardstock. And now I have the stamping pieces and the layers to make 5 cards. Again, I'm not going to make 5 with you just in due to time. I like to be respectful of your time. But we are going to make 2, one in the vertical and one in the horizontal positions. But you can see that's the cutting I did to make these cards, okay? And then after you cut your stamping cardstock and your layers, all you have to do is cut your card bases and then the white for the inside of your cards. So let's do some stamping now. I'm going to do it on here, and I'm going to use some scrap paper because I will be stamping off on my white cardstock. And the first thing I want to do actually is stamp my sentiments. So I'm using the same sentiment on both cards, okay? This one says, sending love your way. It is one of the sentiments in the Regal Flora Stamp Set. Okay, Tuesday's Facebook Live, I believe we used that one, wishing I were there to give you a hug. Today I'm using sending love your way. So I'm going to do my best to stamp this straight. Okay, that looks pretty good. And now I want to stamp it on the other piece of white. I'm going to try and line everything up here so I can see it pretty straight. And the second card is in the oops. That's not quite straight, so I'm going to give it a second try. Okay, that's better. Although I don't, it's awfully high to the top. Skip that. I'll use that for something else. Oh, perfect. That's what I wanted. That's what I wanted. Okay, so basically I'm going to be doing the same stamping on each of these, but I'm just turning the orientation. So I'm going to close this up for a moment. And I'm first going to stamp with Pretty Peacock. I've got this image, and I'm going to stamp it in the lower left corner. Then I'm going to take my Blackberry Bliss, and I'm going to stamp these flowers. I know from my Facebook Live on Tuesday that my pad was a little bit juicy, so I don't really want to press. I'm just dropping my stamp in there, okay? Of course, you could use the sponging or a sponge dauber technique that I showed you on Tuesday as well, if you choose. And then, try to put these out of the way, and then I'm going to stamp with, I'm going to close these up for now because I'll end up with inky fingers, but we'll open them when I do the second stamping, or stamping for the second card, I should say. This is Lost Lagoon. And when I'm stamping this, I'm trying to get the stamping so that the end, the stem, is somewhere near the Pretty Peacock stamp image. Just kind of hides that end rather having it just kind of sticking out of nowhere. Does that make sense? It looks like it's intentionally coming from somewhere is what I'm trying to say. I'm going to stamp off. I just want some lighter shades of these leaves going in here. Filling in some of that space. And then I'm going to put a little bit of leaf at the top. So for this, I'm going to stamp off once and then restamp. Okay. I didn't want it so dark that the words were not able to be read clearly and easily. Oops, I forgot the last step on that one. Then I'm going to add some small flowers with my fresh freesia, which we also used on Tuesday. I'm trying to decide where I want these. And I think I'll stamp it 3 times. I think that looks pretty good. Okay, now let's stamp the second one. So when you hear me talk about simple stamping or SIP cards, SIP, that stands for stamps, ink, and paper. The very basics of what we do as stampers and paper crafters and card makers, okay? Stamps, ink, and paper. Those are our basic supplies. So especially, you know, we don't always have to do big and fancy. We don't always have to have all of the extras. And especially when we're new, or maybe we're on a budget, like we all are probably right now, right? You can do a lot of things. You can make beautiful, wonderful cards using just stamps, ink, and paper, okay? Let me go a little bit lighter there. And then I guess I didn't press evenly, but that's okay. I'll make it work. In fact, what I can do is take my blender pen, pick up a little ink from my pad, and just kind of fill in some of that. Okay, maybe I don't even need to add the ink. I could just move the ink around like this with my blender pen. If I'm going to do it with that one, I might as well do it with the other flowers. Well, that's kind of pretty. Gives a totally different look to our stamped flower by just using a blender pen to blend the ink there. I love it. I love how it turned out. What do you think? Do you like the first one better or the second one where I blended? Tell me in the comments. Blended or not blended? And as you're doing that, I'm going to go on and finish my stamping for this card. Now I'm adding that leaves in Lost Lagoon. To me, Lost Lagoon is just like a lighter shade of Pretty Peacock. So they will always coordinate. Okay. And then again, I want just a little bit of stamping right here. Okay. Oh, it looks like we're split. From the few people that commented, it looks like we're split. Right down the middle. Somebody says both, and the others, one says blended, one says unblended. Well, there you go. That just proves that it's good to show a variety because different people have different interests or different tastes. So thank you to those who responded. And then the last thing I'm going to do is add some small flowers in the fresh freesia. Put one back here, I think. Okay, it's kind of hidden back there. Maybe one right here. Okay, so this one I did a little bit different. Added, on the first one I did 3 of the fresh freesia flowers. On this one, with the blended, I added 5. So you can kind of play around with that. Typically we're working, whether it be with flowers or embellishments, that sort of thing, we typically work in odd numbers. So that's why I chose 3 and 5. So let's finish off our cards. So we use the same product suite in Tuesday's Facebook Live as today's. But on Tuesday's Facebook Live, I was more focused on the designer series paper. The Regal Winter Designer Series paper, which is oh so beautiful. And today I'm focusing more on the stamp set itself. Now, when I was playing with this, at first I was going to put these on white card base. It looked great, it looked simple, it looked clean. I loved it. Oh, I forgot one thing. I want to do a little splattering. So I've got, what is this? Wild wheat. I think another good option would be one of the neutrals like pecan pie or crumb cake, even a little bit of early espresso, something like that. So there's one. And you notice this is just very subtle and very random. I just go move this around, tapping, 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 just until I think I have enough. Okay. And you can see you get more or less. There's no right or wrong. Just do it until you feel it's enough. But do you see how subtle it is? But it also kind of brings everything together, I think. So now let's talk about card bases. So initially, I was going to put these on basic white card bases. Here, I can pull one out and show you. See, that looks pretty. It looks sharp, right? But sometimes I know you people like more color. So then I thought, well, what about the Blackberry Bliss? That's one of the main colors I used, main colors of ink. Very pretty, isn't it? You still get that rich look. But then as I was delving a little deeper, I thought Lost Lagoon. That's really kind of a lighter, airier look to it, right? And if you can't decide and you're making several cards, what do? You use both, right? So that first set of 5 cards, I have 2 on the Lost Lagoon background or card base and 2 on the Blackberry Bliss. Which would you choose? Vesta says, oh, she would choose Blackberry Bliss. Or would you do like me, some of each? Oh, Vesta says both, really. Okay. Now, if you really can't decide, where's my other one here? If you really can't decide, do you want it on Blackberry Bliss or Lost Lagoon? You can add another layer of cardstock and do something like this. It's on a Lost Lagoon layer or a card base. However, I added an extra layer of cardstock with the Blackberry Bliss. Right? Kind of fun, huh? Okay, now let me show you what I did for embellishments. For this card, I used, where are they? The same embellishments that are part of the Regal Winter Suite that we used on Tuesday's cards. I used that. But then I wanted to change things up a bit. So I pulled out these. These are the transparent adhesive back dots. These are part of the To Market suite in the annual catalog. And I use these Blackberry Bliss ones for these flowers on the Lost Lagoon card base. And I don't know, it's just a day I guess I've been kind of indecisive or had too many ideas. So on these cards, then I used the adhesive back textured dots. Again, these are my favorite. If you haven't heard me say it before, these are my favorite in the annual catalog. They're thin, but they just have this neat dotted texture, which to me looks like the center of a flower. But yes, Mary Kay, I agree. It's amazing the difference each one makes, right? So let's do the same right here on these two cards. Mix it up, right? So I'm going to add these Blackberry Bliss dots. They're really glossy and fun. 4 colors, 2 sizes in one pack. Okay. Can you see that? It's hard to tell sometimes on the videos. They don't always do the cards justice like you see in person. And then on the other one, let's do these textured dots. My faves. Oh, I really like how these show up against the blended flowers. And think of that. That was really an accident, right? I didn't use even pressure on my stamping, so this flower right here did not have enough ink right down the center of it. It looked off to me. But instead of restamping, I decided I'm going to pull out a blender pen and fill in that color, and it gives me a totally different look. So sometimes you can think of them as happy accidents or opportunities to embellish or change a bit. But no matter what, and that's one thing I love about this craft. That's one reason I tell everybody they can do this craft, because it's so easy to turn what we might think of as a mistake into something amazing, right? Okay. And I wanted to take the time to show you the different embellishments used, just because we should never feel that, you know, this is the pack of embellishments that comes in or is part of the Regal Winter Suite. They're awesome. I love them. The 3 colors, I can't say enough good things about them. They have that little bit of gold glitter in them. They're just wonderful. But we all probably have other embellishments that we can use just as well on the same set of cards, okay? So think about that. I know there's a lot of goodness, a lot of great products, and sometimes we want it all, but our budget tells us no. Please always know that whatever I'm showing you, you typically can, of course, I'd love it if you purchase Stampin' Up! Products, but you can always use what you have at home. You can always alter the supplies to meet your own needs, okay? And I have to do one more thing to these cards. Make sure I have the right pieces. I need to add the white inserts. And while I'm doing that, let me have you comment. Let's see, what should we comment today? How about sending love? Sending love. Comment sending love if you would like to have your name put into the drawing to receive one of these 2 cards. I just realized today is my last Facebook Live. The last time I'll be with you live in August. When I see you next week, we'll be into September. Okay, are there any questions today about these cards I made for you? Questions about simple stamping, Stampin' Up! Products, colors, whatever. Any questions I can answer for you live before we say goodbye? Oh, Darlene, you can always go back and watch the replay. Yep, we're right at the tail end, but no worries. You can always watch the replay right here. But you can also, in the next day or so, see this video on my YouTube channel, Stampin' Peace with Mary Knabe. and also on my blog, stampinpeace.com. Just give me a little time to take the photos and do the write-up and get it all listed. Okay. What was I going to say? Oh, next week. So this is a holiday weekend here in America. We're celebrating Labor Day. So a lot of people are off work on Monday, so it is a long weekend for many of us. Emily will be coming from Cincinnati, and we'll have lots of fun family time together. And then I will be live Tuesday at 5 p.m. Eastern Time, and again Thursday at 2 p.m. Eastern Time. I do want to remind you that Wednesday, September 4th is a big, big day in the Stampin' Up! World. And you will want to join me live at 10 a.m. Eastern Time on Wednesday, September 4th, right here, because I'm going to do my mini catalog walkthrough, plus, and I don't have my printout of the scrapbooking brochure because it's upstairs. I was using it this morning when I was working up there. But I'll also do a walkthrough of our new scrapbooking brochure. There is no printed publication of that, no printed copy of that. It's simply a PDF that any of us can download or print. If you have not seen it yet, you can find it on my blog, stampinpeace.com, or it went out in an email yesterday as well. And if you still need the link for the scrapbooking brochure, and I'm going to tell you, you need it because it's filled with goodness. It really is. It is introducing our new line of products, scrapbooking kits, and also two-tone cardstock, both of which I'm excited about. And it will be available for both demonstrators and customers to order on Wednesday, September 4th. So you want to check those things out, get your list made, and join me here at 10 a.m. Eastern Time, Wednesday, September 4th, for my walkthroughs. All right, everybody, have a great weekend. I appreciate you so much. I love having the opportunity to share my craft with you and do my best to teach you everything I know about it so you can enjoy stamping and crafting for a long time to come. Have a great weekend. Bye-bye.